Well, hello guys. It's me, Red Liana. Yeah, well, I'm not exactly plan to make this video. I'm not really big into the Marvel Rivals, but I did play it like with friends that you know used to play with me in Dark Souls. Dark Souls PvP for to be exact, like Dark Souls 3. This whole Kingsman, Cece and Zazza thing is just crazy to say the least. It still kind of boggles the mind. Because, they just threw away the 40k, They could have just locked in and, try to win the 40k with at least some dignity, instead of just quiet giving up, but yeah. So I think you guys already know what's going on with that. I probably don't have to explain it, but maybe I could give you like a TLDR or some of that. The TLDR is that Kingsman was just hopping on some Marvel Rivals tourney, just like anyone who likes the game, and or just like me who just wanna hop on because I like the game, Like example, just me hopping on the Dark Souls 3 tournament and then just trying to win it, even though it was just like a $90 Steam wallet or something, the reward is not much, but I will still try to hop in and maybe I could win it or maybe I'm not, but yeah, it's very different thing though, the Marvel Rivals and the Dark Souls 3 though, because Dark Souls 3 is mostly duel, like a 1v1, so you have only yourself to carry yourself, basically just trying to fight another opponent, but that's entirely different story. So what happened is that Kingsman is just simply wants to win, like any of us competitive player, in any competitive games, and 40k is a lot of money too if it was split into 30k or around that number, I guess. And then yeah, these other teams, the girls, Lucy, Zazza and Cece or something, they just kinda refuse to just cooperate, just like any team, when Kingsman just simply suggest they Zazza or something to just switch from Black Widow, because Black Widow with 200 ping or MS is just sounds really terrible. I have experienced a lot of high latency fights in my Dark Souls 3 PvP journey, and I know that using something like sniper just to land a hit is just really bad though. It's just not worth doing, because in high latency you need something that spams, and I think Black Widow is just cannot do that, cannot spam shots, because it's a sniper and you only had like one shot and then you need to cock the rifle again and then shoot again, just really bad, of course. Then of course there's a part where Kingsman was just kinda just telling Zazza to switch because she's getting destroyed, basically. That's what happens. He got countered by like Spider-Man and other character or something. And of course, counterplay is kind of like in Dark Souls 3 too. You need you need to know how which weapon that can counter or cannot counter, like the matched up, basically the match up. So yeah, there's that too. But yeah, Zazza just refuses. Then yeah, Kingsman got bullied. He was being called loser, being called like being told to shut the hell up, and then the other thing is, so yeah, that's what happened, I guess. And yeah, well, I can kinda relate to Kingsman because I am too being told to shut the hell up too when I'm trying to correct a player in Souls community, because I think people just get this wrong a lot. Or like, it's not just in Marvel Rivals. This is people basically. You're dealing with people who simply just had this loser mentality. I guess they don't want to win. Like even though they are being told the correct thing, they just take it as some kind of ego attack or something, or personal attacks. Like, you're just being told to switch from Widow. Why not just simply do that, instead of running your mouth. I think that's just not very what's the word for it, not very I forgot the word for it, but it's just not worth doing, like something like that, like you could just listen and just do what you're being told, And switching is not that hard. You just need to go back to the spawn and just press H and then just switch to something else, Bucky or something, or Winter Soldier or anything, like, this kind of mentality that Zazza has, and of course her friends, are the same like in Elden Ring and Dark Souls 2, because experienced player will swap or hard swap weapons if they got counter, or the opponent is using something strong, and you need like to have like a counter pick, a counter weapons. It's pretty much almost the same like in Marvel Rivals and the Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. And there's always this type of player who just, why are you hard swapping to other weapon, something like that, and they just get mad because we swap to weapon to counter them, even though the game is clearly like a scissor and the scissor rock paper thing. These people just simply doesn't want to swap. They think they can just stick with one weapon or one character and then just getting absolutely destroyed and then getting mad about it, because even though it was entirely their own fault, And that's another thing about the loser mentality, is that they don't exactly want to improve. They just, why are they doing this though? I don't know. I still have no clue why they are doing this, like throwing out a game, like not just a random game. It was like a tourney with a $40,000 on the line. If I was there, I probably locked in and just research how the meta works, because as right now I don't really know the meta, to be honest. I'm just playing Star-Lord and other characters sometimes. And the last time I played a competitive game seriously was like in 2021 and 2020. During that time, I'm just playing Dark Souls 3, and it was just a local tournament, and I win that tournament too, like 2 times at least. And I share the money with my friends, and we just buy a Steam games, and we just play together after that, just to celebrate it, But damn, man, imagine not locking on, like, or locking in, for a 40K, I would locking in though if I had like a team, like that I formed that I knew will be strong, instead of just CC just forming a team. Okay, I will choose Zazza. We'll see. She doesn't even know if they are truly strong or just goofy goober just trying to pass through the game. So yeah, that's what happened, and then this mentality is everywhere, not just in Marvel Rivals. In my opinion, is everywhere. It's in Dark Souls PvP dueling. It's in the PvE part of the Dark Souls, where people just crying about invaders just beating them up square. Like even though it's completely their own fault for not get ready for invaders with the optimized build and optimized weaponries. Everything is like not imagine not ready yourself for a meta PvP. I think you need to be ready for a meta PvP, or up against like a casual. Casuals can still be dangerous too, but if you were not careful, of course. Yeah, well. Then the other thing I heard is just that Kingsman got bullied again, got insults after he was kicked from the tourney. It's crazy out there. Okay, this time I will try to talk about the mentality. So, I don't know, man. Like in Marvel Rivals, I think you're supposed to want to win, instead of wanting to just not win. So, in Dark Souls, invaders. Why invaders are being hated is because invaders wants to win, even though they did not get a reward like tourney reward, like dollars or money, or even though they already max out the covenants, they still invades to win. That's kinda backward, like in a game where there's no genuine reward like money. These people are still try harding. These people are still wants to win against like 3 PvEers. These people still wants to win a duel, and they just try their hardest. But in my Marvel Rivals, it's just, or other games perhaps, these people just give up. They just give up. They just simply give up when they see a adversary, or at least a difficult opponent. It's like the opposite, in Dark Souls, people are more excited when they see someone who are stronger than them, like, oh, okay, this player knows what the fuck they are doing, something like that. And then you just be like, okay, let's see if I can beat him, just try to be more patient. And then you win, and then you feel so good, man. That's just how it feels, when you win an invasion or a duel, against like a legitimately good players, So yeah, I think people should embrace challenging themselves, fighting someone who is stronger than them, force yourself into a better player, and of course, just be better, just grow every day, be better. Oh yeah, well, of course I need to continue talking about the loser mentality, because it's not just in Marvel Rivals, like I said before. It exists everywhere, because people who were crying even about like any difficult game. Example is the Dark Souls, of course, the Elden Ring. The casuals, they all complains about those games, because why? Because it is a difficult game and it needs like patience and learning through mistakes, and of course from dying. I mean, the game, the overall premise of the game is like just learning from dying, you know, basically. It's not like learning through training, is learning through dying. You died, you learn something, and then you just try not to repeat it. You know, that's what you just try to do, you know. And then of course the people that cry about Dark Souls 2 are the same, just like Cece and Zazza. Why are they the same? It's because of course there's you know, the reluctantly to learn, and then, you know, or just they just doesn't want to learn, you know, they just doesn't want to learn, or they just doesn't want to listen to people who were better than them. Of course it's the same mentality that we have in Souls community, to be honest, and everywhere. People just doesn't want to learn how the games works. They just complain, and they just types a long essay, like long essay about the game, and they're just calling it trash. What a trash game! And the intro cinematic doesn't make any sense, blah blah blah. Yeah, something like that, you know. These people, they break at the at the slide of adversity, you know. They just break, you know. The type of people who shouldn't have enter a tourney, you know. They shouldn't have. They should just, you know, just play Animal Crossing or something, you know. It's not even an insult to, you know, telling them to go back playing Animal Crossing. I mean, it's the truth. If they cannot handle something like Dark Souls, or something like Marvel Rivals, or something like Chivalry 2, where the combat is at least needs some learning and needs to learn the fundamental or the basic counterplay, then just go play something simple. No need to push yourself and play something else that were competitive, while also dragging your teammate down who were trying to win. It's just not very good sport to it. Because if I was in that tourney with Kingsman, I will follow him through hells. I will follow his orders if I have to, you know, just to win that 40k, you know. Hell, 30k is a lot of money for me too. I will use it to, I don't know, upgrade my PC or something, you know, or perhaps just save it, you know, the rest of the money after I upgrade my PC, and just save it, you know, for future, because it's a lot of money, you know. It's what a waste, though, actually, though. Imagine throwing out your best player. That's like throwing out your best co-invader in Dark Souls 3 PvP, and then you just getting killed by the gang squad, you know. Not a good look. Not a good look. Yeah, I think that's that, guys. I think there's more to what happened in that Marvel journey, but I don't really like getting into the drama of it. I just want to talk about like the mentality, and you know, these people just wasting or throwing out a 40k is fucking crazy, actually. Yeah, that's that, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this little commentary video, just subscribe, leave a like or dislike. Of course, comment down below. And if you want me to make some Marvel Rivals video, just let me know, because right now I'm just messing around with Red Dead right now. I'm not really trying to go back to Dark Souls PvP right now because it's kinda dying. That's the only reason, and of course it needs a video on its own, I think. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll make one. Yeah, see ya.